Every morning, just before the sun climbed over the fields, a man sat on the same wooden bench beneath the old walnut tree at the edge of the village. Most folks barely noticed him as they passed along the dirt road. They drove by slowly, boots crunching gravel and engines humming low, thinking about chores, bills, and whatever the day would demand of them. He was just there, still and quiet, like part of the landscape itself. But one morning, a young woman stopped on the road. She had returned to the village after years away and paused to shade her eyes as she looked at the man on the bench. He wasn't old, not really, just tired in a way that felt deeper than age. "Do you come here every day?" she asked, offering a small half-smile. He nodded once, slow and gentle. "Since I can remember," he said, his voice calm and careful. She laughed softly and glanced around the quiet road, saying there didn't seem to be much to see. The man looked up at the branches above them as the leaves stirred in the breeze. "Depends on what you're waiting for," he said thoughtfully. That answer stayed with her as she walked away down the dirt road. The next morning, she came back to the bench beneath the walnut tree. She sat a few steps away from him, both of them facing forward in silence. They listened to the birds, a distant tractor, and the wind moving through the fields. He didn't ask her name, and she didn't ask his. Day after day, they shared the bench together. She talked about the city, the noise, the pressure, and the feeling of always being late for a life that never slowed down. He listened without interrupting, his eyes fixed on the horizon as if he'd heard such stories carried by the wind before. One morning, she finally asked him what he was waiting for. He didn't answer right away. The silence stretched long enough to feel heavy between them. "My wife used to walk this road," he said quietly, looking ahead. Every morning at the same time, she followed the same path along the village road. She would wave before the bend and then disappear for the day. The woman swallowed, suddenly aware of how loud her own breathing sounded. "She's gone now," he continued, his voice steady despite the weight of the words. "But this is where I last saw her smile, so I come here, just in case the world remembers." The air felt different after that conversation. The woman stopped talking about leaving and stayed longer in the village. She learned the rhythm of the mornings and how time felt when it wasn't chasing her. One day, the bench beneath the walnut tree was empty. No man sat there, and no quiet nod greeted her. She sat alone on the bench, her heart sinking in the stillness. That was when she noticed something carved into the wood, worn smooth by years of hands resting over it. She understood then what the words meant. Not everything that waits is stuck, and some things are simply faithful. She stood up, brushed the dust from her clothes, and waved at the empty road before walking away. And the village, quiet as ever, kept the secret.